Currently, I'm working on this cardboard house right now, and I don't know, man. Like, I don't hate where it's going, but I don't really love it either. I feel like it's just missing something. I got it! When I was a kid, I was really into one green, dumb-looking video game character. And no, it's not Luigi.
Look, Mom, he's cute.
Yoshi was what I refer to as my boy. I had all of his games, Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's Story, you name it. I think that I even had that garbage touchscreen controlled sack of vomit. Was it Yoshi's Touch and Go? Is that it? I was a fan! If it had Yoshi on the cover, I was probably gonna play it. Excuse me, no, I was definitely gonna play it. And this thought process even extended to the other Mario games too. It didn't matter what game it was. If I could play as him, well, you best bet your dear old Grandma Sally it probably was, even though Sally probably doesn't know what a video game is still. Even in games like Mario Sunshine, I probably spent more time doing stupid shit like this than I did actually playing the main game. And that leads us to today, children, the release of Yoshi's Crafted World. Actually, that was like a month ago. Crafted World is the latest in a long, beautiful lineage of wonderful games to come out for one of Nintendo's technology boxes. And I thought it'd be a good idea to sit here and talk about it because I don't really have anyone else in my life to talk about Yoshi games with. So I'm gonna sit here and pretend that this microphone in front of my face is my friend for the next 10 minutes. Thank you. I'm alone and sad. So first off, we gotta talk about the epic novel that is this game's story. So Baby Bowser, right, steals some gems or some shit. I don't know. He does it with Magic Koopa. Does this even matter? Does anybody care? So far, I'm having a pretty decent little time with this game. I'm getting close to the end, but I'm not gonna show any of that gameplay because, whoa, this is a spoiler-free zone, thank you. I kinda had the same feeling that I did whenever I played through something like Pokemon's Let's Go or Captain Toad Treasure Trackers. It's really laid back, it's chill, it's fun and co-op, it's, you know, good to play with a wife, that sort of thing. Oh, look at that, she died. It's not a challenging game, and I've kind of come to expect that from a Yoshi game. Like, yeah, it owns it. It knows what it wants to be. And you know what? I respect that. Because the level design is fairly interesting for the most part, and there's a lot of that there Yoshi magic sprinkled on top, if you catch my drift. I was really intrigued by a lot of the ideas in this game because most of the levels have a bunch of different platforming things in them that help freshen up the game whenever your stupid little butt starts getting tired. I also love exploring not just from left to right, but being able to go north and south on this sort of like quasi three-dimensional plane. This just introduces you to all sorts of possibilities, okay? The level just like opens up from here and you get a lot more space being used, which then forces you to pay more attention to all of your surroundings. Like all of this here, you got to pay attention to. So now you got all kinds of room to throw the eggs, Yoshi. You want to throw one there? We'll throw one there. The throwing of the eggs still surprisingly manages to feel good after all these years, and it feels so accurate even with adding all of this. I mean, seriously, they literally added this entire new layer of depth to the gameplay that you don't get in something like... Now this is especially noticeable with the inclusion of the souvenir hunt. So after you beat a few levels in one of these areas, Mr. Skull Project Reject over here offers you the challenge of finding a specific object, or might I add, objects. Now sometimes these are pretty easy peasy lemon lime juicy squeezy because you stumble upon them naturally, while other times you better fucking whip out your X-ray demigod Superman goggles to see some of this shit. Oh, of course, there it is. Well, how did I not see that sooner? And speaking of things to look at, I mean, will you just look at these graphics? This is what we in the video game industry call a hot-ass game. Yoshi's Crafted World is the first Nintendo game fully developed within the loins of Unreal Engine 4, and it shows, man. Every inch of this game is stuffed full to the brim with all of the handcrafted details. It's got cows, it's got Shy Guys in bushes, it's got trains. What else do you want, you monsters? They model the entire world after household items like cardboard and paper and wood and tape and other materials, and it makes this game feel so much more realistic and kind of relatable in a way because the materials are just so lifelike. It adds this like really interesting sense of realism that you don't get with other cartoon platformers about dinosaurs, because there's a lot of those running around. Now so far this game's pretty fun, but I gotta say, I don't think I'm fully on board yet. They did it! Poochie's design is just extra adorable in this one. And thank God they've updated his design over the years, because that is just the stuff of nightmares. I've always been a massive lover of dogs my entire life. I'm that weird dude who just stares at your dog on the sidewalk whenever you guys are just going for like a Sunday stroll at Target. I'm sorry. And if I didn't, live here where they don't allow animals, because I guess the owners just like things like yellow starburst and Satan, I'd probably have a good boy running around and he'd probably be in every video. Now, I think the Poochie levels are probably some of my favorites. I believe they use him really well in this game, from you riding him like the noble steed that he is, to watching him run around in the background, or having him smash into things because he has no brain. Personally, I just think he feels like an excited dog who's just happy to see you because he's such a good boy. So after you beat a level, you then get the chance to play its flip side version to find all the other good boys. The Poochie puppies have gone missing for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. I'm not a doctor. This is basically just playing the level backwards while having the scenery change up a little bit, because apparently the developers couldn't think of anything better to do with this concept after showing it off in that first trailer. Yeah, I mean, these are alright for some added content. It's nothing groundbreaking, but I mean, come on, these guys are freaking adorable. Every time I throw one of these little dudes at an enemy, I just let out the heartiest of chuckles. I mean, yeah, it's probably causing traumatic brain damage, but look at that, they don't care. And yeah, while these levels are kind of shallow, I think they're fun deviations from the main game, because it forces you as the player to change up how you've been playing the game, because instead of meticulously scoping out the level trying to like Nicolas Cage the place, you suddenly now have to rush through and complete your objective in time so you can see this screen where all the good boys come out to play.
But like anybody, I have annoyances.
There's really only two games that make me want to keep my Wii U. Star Fox Zero. Yes, I like Star Fox Zero, shut up. And then there's Yoshi's Woolly World. Woolly Worlds ended up becoming one of my favorite games for the system, and in my humblest of opinions, I don't know if that's a word either.
It's not.
I personally think Woolly World is just a fundamentally better game than Crafted World in pretty much every single way. If you don't mind for a second, I'm gonna reference something, okay? In the words of the late, great DK Rap, the levels in Woolly World, in my opinion, were just
bigger, faster, and stronger too.
I personally had so much more fun going throughout each of the levels, collecting everything to 100%, and then unlocking the special level for each world that actually gave me a semblance of a challenge, man. Those levels were f***ing hard. Woolly World overall just felt like it had more interesting level design, and it made exploring the levels about more than just something that felt necessary to justify me dropping 3 Andrew Jacksons on it. The levels were more well thought out. The secrets were hidden better in each of the levels. Crafted World essentially just kind of feels like Nintendo is simply recognizing Yoshi as the new Kirby, and that makes me a little sad. But before you come at me with your fire and your brimstones, I know there's an audience for Kirby games. Kirby games are very chilled, are laid-back experiences that are aimed primarily at those looking for a good time with the boys. I just don't really feel like I'm getting any return on investment for my time spent playing this game, if that makes any sense, because as far as I can tell, the only real rewards that I'm getting are these dumb costumes that I unlock by collecting coins and levels, and then I'm going to this gumball machine and watching it fart out a bunch of costumes I'm probably not gonna use. And I don't really feel like I'm actually earning anything. I'm just kind of getting money that I would normally get for playing through all these levels anyway. And then I gotta clean out the machine because what the hell else am I gonna spend all this money on? But when I got that GameCube outfit in Woolly World, you bet your butt in your hole I earned that one. But I mean, overall, Crafted World has some great ideas thrown in there. It just kind of feels like it's trying to be too simple. Unless you're trying to collect all the things. Then it's way more challenging if you're trying to find all this crap. And keep in mind, there's a lot of crap. I mean, seriously though, if you want to fully beat a level, and I mean really beat it, you gotta collect all the flowers, you gotta finish the level with 20 heart points, you gotta find all the red coins, find all the Poochies on the flip side version of that level, reach the end before the time limit, and then you finally gotta replay the level 1,002 times to find each and all the souvenir items, and what the f***? This is like Donkey Kong 64 levels of junk.
Come on, Cranky, take it to the fridge.
I mean, I'm happy there's a good amount of stuff to do in the game, but since there's not really any reward for doing it all, it kind of just feels like a worthless waste of my time, and where's the Tylenol? And the worst part about all of it is, I'm such an obsessive and compulsive idiot that if I don't fill out all these lists perfectly, then I'm gonna feel like a disappointment to my family by not honoring their legacy. And a lot of this annoyance stems from the souvenir hunts. Just let me replay the level one time and find all the crap and then come back to give it to the curly smile turd face. Or even just let me collect these items the first time I play a level and reward me for taking the time to go out of my way to throw all the eggs at the background. But instead, I get to go through the levels 1,000 times to the point where I can just tell what's gonna be a souvenir, and I wanna hit it with an egg, but I can't because it doesn't count yet. And oh my god, why is this optional mode in this video game so soulless? Also, I can't find any good Poochie plushies, and I don't know why, and that makes me very upset. Now, I know it may sound like I've been complaining about this game a lot, but I've actually been having a pretty good time with it overall. I mean, the core gameplay is great, the visuals are phenomenal to look at. It's just not necessarily a game I'm going to be coming back to anytime soon. But I'll tell you what though, if I ever do come back to this game, it ain't going to be because of that music. Who approved this? It sounds like a small child keeps farting into a kazoo.